how accurate is forensic handwriting analysis? Well, first of all, it wouldn't go to court and the judge wouldn't let someone testify if it wasn't accurate. Like, clearly, there must be a science behind it if you're going to let it into court as a viable forensic testing methodology. That's sort of like saying, how accurate is thumbprints or how accurate is DNA testing? It's as accurate as the human being performing the test and the equipment doing the analysis. That doesn't mean that a human being can't be wrong. I know in fingerprints, actually there is 13 different points of comparison, and in some states there's only 7. So depending on the state, you may get a 100% accuracy with only 7 points of comparison opposed to 13 or more in other states. So in different states, they have different criteria for what makes a forensic specialty part accurate or not. However, the science of it is definitely accurate because it's all about a procedure. There are dozens of procedures in forensic document, in handwriting, and fingerprinting, and forensic and shoe print, and all of those make a really big difference because you have to follow the procedure. The odd part of that question is you have to make the assumption you're talking about forensic document examination opposed to graphology. Because some people say, hey, how accurate is handwriting analysis? They may be talking about the personality and psychology of understanding people through their handwriting, which can be very useful for human resources and therapists. I happen to be skilled at both of those, and so I know the limitations of the personality field, which really has to do with the skill level of the practitioner. I'm probably one of the most humble ones saying, hey, this is what you can tell, this is what you can't tell, and I'm inconclusive. Like, I wouldn't know if someone's cheating on you or someone's an evil person. Like, I'm just not going to make those big generalizations. But there are some character traits that can be determined, especially for those people that learn to write and had been writing all their life. Not so much people under 35. But as far as the science of it, if you get a court qualified forensic examiner and they're making an opinion based on the science, whether or not a human being wrote a note, like a full handwritten note, you're going to get an accurate opinion as long as that person follows the procedures, has been properly trained so they know the procedures, and they can mine their biasness. And what I mean by that is people are unconsciously biased to whatever is going on in the room, including witnesses, eyewitnesses. So if they don't have procedures to protect them from knowing what the client wants, they may go find the evidence that they want. And that's sometimes how we end up with 2 different experts, is this person has kind of convinced themselves that these elements of similarity or differences means that it's a forgery. So they've convinced themselves they've weighted the evidence wrong. So let's, for example, in this truck right here, there are the steering wheel, there's, a bottle of kombucha, there is a phone, but what makes it a car? Like, okay, there's 4 wheels and it's a truck. So I'm saying is if you weight one thing really heavily, like, oh, it's a steering wheel, it's definitely a car. Well, actually it's a truck. So what you really need to see is the entire picture, and you got to assemble it together. So if a handwriting expert sees a little difference in a G or a Y, and they go, oh, there's a difference there, that means it's a forgery, they're weighing the evidence wrong. And that's where I think human error can come into play, is if they weigh the evidence incorrectly. Normally, most of my peers get the same opinion I do if we can look at the same evidence, the same quantity, same volume. Now, that doesn't mean that all of them are ethical. I've seen some that absolutely are not ethical, and it's embarrassing, and they shouldn't be in business, but, there's nothing I can do about that. So yes, I think handwriting analysis is very accurate, especially the forensic one, and even the psychology can be very useful if you get a competent person actually doing the analysis that knows the limitations. My name is Bart Baggett. If you need any help or a handwriting case, please give our office a call. We have offices in many cities around the country, and we'll be glad to help you solve that case. If you like this kind of content, like and subscribe, and more videos on the way.